Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm James Milan. Our ACMi audience is familiar with the fact that we are partners with the Arlington International Film Festival and have been for these 10 years now that they have been in operation. One of the things we enjoy doing each year is talking to the winner of the poster contest. As you probably know, the poster ends up being put up all over town, but also much more widely distributed than that. And each year they hold a contest for local college students. And this year's winner is with me today. Rayna Walters from the Mass College of Art and Design. Welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, it's always a great distinction and comes with a nice little check too, of course. But on the 10th anniversary, I think you deserve a little extra kudos for that. That's great.
Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty cool to be the 10th winner.
Yeah, well done. So I'd like to talk just a little bit, just get a quick kind of background on, how long graphic design has been part of your life, and how you came to end up at the Mass College of Art and Design, and then we'll start talking about the poster itself. So yeah, what is this something that came out of the womb and knew you wanted to do this, or what's the story?
Yeah, ever since I was very little, I've always loved doing art. My dad used to make stained glass windows, and my mom makes mosaics. My grandparents are also painters. My aunt also went to art school, so I come from a fairly long line of artists.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't want to go into, I don't know, be a garbage person or something,
Yeah.
There's nothing setting you up for that. But no, it does sound though that then this has been part of your life for a long time.
Yeah. And around halfway through high school, I started to take it a lot more seriously, which led me to finding mass art through my high school art teacher.
Mm-hmm. And where are you at in your mass art arc at this point? What year are you going to be?
Well, I just graduated.
Oh, you did? Okay. Congratulations on that too. And
Thank
sorry.
You. Yeah, it's been a little weird. Doesn't feel
sure.
too official, but.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to be thinking about, next steps yet, or has the virus just kind of put a halt to that? What are you doing right now, and what's in front of you as far as you can tell?
It's definitely slowed my plans down a little bit. I was thinking about grad school for the fall, and I still am thinking about grad school, but I'm just going to be pushing it back a little bit. It has allowed me to having like this time. It has allowed me to work on like my own website, my own brand, and I've looked more into selling and making my own prints. So just kind of being able to work more on my own art. And I've been also making a lot of like personal work for friends and family, just to take a little break from like assignments, but still making art that I enjoy.
And is that, as far as you can tell, obviously, we're all living just the lives that we're living, and coronavirus has dictated those for these months now. But I'm curious whether that part of what you're doing right now, in other words, working on building your brand, working on your website, making art for friends and acquaintances, etc. Is that likely what you would have been doing under normal circumstances as well at this time?
Yeah, I think it's like fairly close. I think I also would have been working more, looking into grad schools, and getting things together for that. I mean, it's not too far off because it's also what I would have been doing during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the extended amount of time that this will be going on will help me kind of like perfect and work on my own like selling and commissions and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Great. Hey, let's talk about the piece itself. And mentioned this to you before we went on air, but let me say, for the record, that it's been my privilege to be involved with the poster contest in various ways over most of the 10 years that it has happened. And so I've gotten to see the previous winners and talk to those who had made them, et cetera. And I got to say, this is a very distinctive design compared to many that I've seen before, and I'm quite intrigued by it. So first of all, let me ask you, how was this what you came up with as a conception right from the get-go, and then it was just a question of turning it into reality, or what is the genesis of this?
Um, it definitely took a process to get to the point where it is now. It was hard to combine like the sorry the ideas of an international film festival without making it too cliche. Um, so that was a bit hard to work through. The cliches that first come to mind.
And what are
Um,
the, like, just as an example, like, again, you're talking about cliches within a graphic
mhm.
design community that is very kind of conversant and literate around these kinds of things. Share with us what some of the things you were looking to avoid were, because they're cliched.
I was looking to avoid just like laying out flags. In the end, I did end up using flag images in my piece, but I tried to make them more abstract. And like going through the process of trying not to explicitly show flags, I was thinking about how, like for the Olympic rings each circle is a color that's featured in pretty much every flag. So I was thinking of things like abstracting them into colors. Um,
Mm-hmm. So I guess one of the pitfalls would be just like, how do you present the fact that this is international? And the most
mhm,
likely thing is, oh yeah, flags representing, again,
mhm,
all the multiplicity of countries, et cetera. So you needed to find something else, and you
mhm,
successfully did. Um, what about some of the other kind of elements that go into it? Because clearly, the image that is presented is, of course, an immediately familiar one for anybody, looking at film. But it's really how that central image is composed, and of the various elements that go into it, that really kind of are fascinating. And so take us through that process, and feel free if you want. I understand that you have, some depictions of
mhm.
specific components, and feel free to, take us through however works for you.
Okay, yeah, I'll share some of those images. Um, so the central thing to the main part of the poster was I wanted to emphasize the Arlington, um, just so it would be more specific um, to the Arlington International Film Festival, rather than just being speaking towards like an international sense. So the inside is an old like film reel camera, and it's made of paper cut pieces, all of an old topographical map of Arlington. Um, so you can see all of the little gears cut out.
Hmm.
Um, and that's how I wanted to incorporate like that's how I wanted to incorporate Arlington.
Hmm.
Um, and just making that central piece, really
Yeah, and I've
focus
got to
on
say
it.
that that is one of the real distinctive features of your work here, is that relatively few of the posters in the past have tried to incorporate or integrate something that is Arlington specific. And again, on the 10th anniversary, it seems particularly fitting that Arlington at least have some presence
Mhm.
in the poster. So that was an inspired choice.
Thank you.
And why, like, did you feel like a map was really the best kind of way of bringing Arlington in? Was there also something about the texture of a map that worked for you graphically?
Um, I mean, I think the map definitely helped each piece stand out a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um, I had also looked at just like landmarks from around Arlington, but I felt the map worked a little bit better. It was an overall better representation for Arlington.
Hmm. And how, you know, on the scale of the projects that you have undertaken in your years at school, how tough was this? Was this something that obviously it wasn't part of your school work, so you needed to fit it in addition? How big and exhausting or not a project was this?
Um, this one, it was a little tough just because of all of the small pieces. Um, each piece has either a foam core board or a tongue depressor behind it.
Mm,
So each is like leveled up just to give it some shadows. And there's a lot of just very tiny pieces.
right.
Um, so cutting each part out and kind of puzzling it back together was a little difficult, but I actually really enjoyed making this piece. Um, in the past with other assignments, I really hadn't liked working with cut paper. But for some reason, I just really liked, making all of these little gears and putting everything together like a little puzzle. And
Hmm.
this was a really enjoyable piece to make.
That's great, and I'm glad that you brought that up about how each of the, each of the specific pieces is, there's some depth to each of those, and I can really see it in these details that you're providing us here.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about how this fits in, or how this will be helpful for you, this distinction. Obviously, we mentioned already, it's nice to actually get rewarded financially for the work that you do and the time you spend, but what about the recognition piece?
I think that's huge. This is kind of unlike work I usually do, but in a sense, it's also similar in the way of how delicate the little pieces are. I usually work with florals. Um,
Well, can I interrupt you for a second? Just
mhm.
say, let's go back to being able to see your face.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
sorry.
that's fine. But excuse the interruption. Great. Please carry on though. Tell us, continue to tell us about how this recognition is special in and of itself.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just it's going to be all over the world. Um, and I can't really think of anything else that I've done that would get me that sort of recognition globally. Um, and just overall, like, yeah, it was just kind of crazy to be a part of this
Hmm.
international thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of exposure, as you said. Many countries to which which subscribe and are part of the festival, but also uh, who are sources of audience for the festival as well.
Hmm.
Um, And as we know, will be a surprise to nobody, in this year of 2020, this is going to be a virtual festival. So the good part for you, I think, though, is that the posters are still going to go up in all the normal places, and they will be absolutely dotting the landscape all over Arlington and the Boston area, but also presented, in terms of the graphic itself in everything that they do. So enjoy that, and make sure that your family, including all of the artists already there, that they richly enjoy it as well, because it really is a lot of exposure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to just being able to watch everything at the festival in November.
I was going to ask and assume that you would, yeah, that you would be an avid spectator as well.
Hmm.
Are you a film fan?
Um, yeah, I don't know too much about film, but looking through the films that they have the previews for, I'm excited to see that there's so many documentaries. Um, yeah, everything on there looks very, very intriguing.
Okay, great. All right, well, we want to thank you very much for joining us today, and offer you one last congratulations on this very fine distinction, and also wish you good luck, graduate school whenever it happens, and continuing to work on your branding, which I think this will help with as well. So best of luck to you. Enjoy the festival itself, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, you too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm James Milan. I've been talking to Rayna Walters, who is this year 2020's winner of the Arlington International Film Festival poster contest. Look for the poster around town, around the city, around the world, and you will find it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.